Hi, this is Warren Williams from warrenwilliamscoaching.com in conjunction with How to Cure. So this video accompanies the article, Emotions, Our Body Keeps the Score. So in summary here, what I'm going to just express is about humanity and how today we are so focused on intellectualism without regard for experience. And this is going to tie into the emotions in the body in a second. So what we know is that, and I love this expression, intellectualism is a cover up for fear of a direct experience. Well, what that basically means is, in simple terms, we are so focused on the idea rather than the experience. We are intellectualizing our understanding rather than experiencing our understanding. And I always like to use this example. If you've studied 100 books on martial arts, but you've never had a practice, you are not a martial artist. You only have ideas in your head. Now, how this relates to trauma is because of the fact that we intellectualize things, we no longer connect to our bodies. So what we find today is most humans are unaware of the trauma that they store in their body because they no longer have a connection to self because they are so intellectualized. We are so busy today doing so many things because we are, in a sense, built to survive. The human mind itself, the human brain itself, is built to survive. And because it's built to survive, whenever we experience any form of trauma, we just get on, we move on. We bury it so that we can continue to move on with our lives. So we know because we are burying trauma, it stays at a cellular level in our body. We know that emotions are stored at a cellular level because we have specific triggers that show us this. One trigger is, think of it like this. Every single time you get startled, what's the first thing that you do? You hold your breath. So we know today through the study of breath work that and other modalities that check respiration, kinesiology, muscle testing, and so on, that so many people today have what we call holding patterns as well as accessory breathing patterns. Now, let me just explain this. So a holding pattern is, as we said earlier, whenever you get startled, you hold your breath. So we now know today people naturally start to hold their breath more and more, and it's showing up more and more in the workplace and in life where people tend to hold their breath or breathe in a restricted way. And any form of holding pattern is an apprehension. You see, we only have two real experiences when it comes to stress: anxiety or depression. Anxiety is fear of the future, which is an apprehension or a holding pattern. Depression is fear of the past, sorry. So that's one thing that shows up in our physiology from our psychology. The second thing that we experience when it comes to our stress is accessory breathing. Accessory breathing basically means that you're not breathing diaphragmatically from your tummy. Next time you look at a young baby that's less than a year old, you'll see it has a really big belly and it's breathing into its belly. It's in a calm, breathing, relaxed state until it learns to understand the stresses of life, and then it may react. A lot of the time it mirrors its parents to react that way. So most people, most adults now, or even a lot of young children, they breathe from their neck and shoulders, and there are accessory muscles in the levator scapula, the scalenes, all the muscles around the neck, the pec minors, and these are all accessory muscles that you can start breathing with. But when you breathe with these accessory muscles, it means that you're in a state of sympathetic stress or fight and flight, always thinking that there's a battle to be won or a war to fight or somewhere to hide and run from. So just from this alone, from the physiology, we know that humans are now in more of a stressful state. And a lot of this, like I said, is because we pacify our pain. We pacify our pain by taking recreational drugs, by busying our minds, by having escapism TV, numbing ourselves through drugs or any form of pain physically so that we don't have to experience the emotions that we have had at a cellular level. We know that suicide rates are on the rise. We know that more men now are being found to commit more suicide because men don't speak about their problems. They're not vulnerable and allow themselves to surrender to their emotions. Not all men, but just many men. So we know that humans are now so desensitized to their emotions that, we can watch really violent films, we can hear really sad stories about true life, and a lot of times we become so desensitized because of the saturation of all this stuff on the news that we don't really feel as much as we used to. And because of this inability to really feel, we are so desensitized to true emotion. And also because we are avoiding our inner dialogue because we are so busy in the world, we're storing all of these emotions at a cellular level. There's a part of the brain called the septum pellucidum, also known as the joy center of the brain. And the joy center of the brain, or the septum pellucidum, scientists have found that it's actually 3 times smaller than it used to be thousands of years ago when they compare it to the size of it in animals. So we are now finding it harder to experience joy. So we have to go on extreme things such as bungee jumping and very, very extreme things to experience a normal level of joy. So we are outside of our own bodies and so disconnected to Mother Nature and to Earth, the connection to the planet, to families, relationships, and so on. We are on all these social media sites externalizing emotions but not feeling emotions at an internal level. And because of all these things, we are losing connection to self. We are learning to lie to ourselves about our pain when people say, "How are you?" "I'm fine." And oftentimes we're not, but we just don't know who to talk to and where to turn. So we keep suppressing these emotions and getting on with life. But this is creating cellular pain, cellular emotional trauma that needs to be pushed out of the body. Talking to a counselor is a great start. There are other systems that are so much more powerful because the more you talk about a problem, the more you give it power. And we must not power our stories if they are bad stories. So there are other ways that are stronger, more powerful, such as moving the energy through the body through energy work, moving the emotions through breath work. And again, you can look up a lot of these modalities online. There's also what's called TRE, or trauma release exercise, which is violent shaking, similar to what I said at the start about animals. Animals, they shake to move trauma out of their body. So actually, what one thing that animals do in the wild is once they're hunted, which I haven't said what once they've hunted, but once they're being hunted, and they experience trauma, if they survive, they typically shake. And you'll probably see dogs doing this as well. If you're a pet owner, you'll see dogs and cats shaking and they move the emotions out of their body. So violent shaking is a way to move emotions out of our body at a cellular level. Plant medicine ceremonies. There are so many different things that we can do nowadays, microdosing and so on, that allow us to be able to move emotions. And some of these are detailed in the article. So again, just wanted to kind of give you just a quick synopsis of what the article entails. And just remember also, no one's reacting to an event in their life. They are only reacting to a self-generating program. So the example I give for this is if 2 people are on a roller coaster ride, one person loves it and the other person hates it. To one it's joy and one's terror. The event hasn't changed, it's only their perception of the event that has changed and caused the happiness or sadness. So these exercises and practices and awarenesses are to teach us that we need to change our perception, because in actuality, there is no real reality. It's only our perception of the reality that affects us at an emotional level. So hopefully this stuff makes sense and you get something out of this article and this video. Thanks for your time. Peace.